What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Violent Mic, powered by Violent Money. Before we get started, don't forget to check out Plant Space for all your plant-based products. Let's get into the show. Dom.
Yo.
Is there a potential fight in the UFC that you want to see? Think big. Give me the names.
When you say think big, I'm thinking heavyweights.
What we talking?
Francis Ngannou.
Yes.
Jon Jones.
Oh, God.
Jon Jones, the reigning undisputed light heavyweight champ. Well, former light heavyweight champ, I should say. Moving up to heavyweight now. Packed on probably about 45, 50 pounds of pure muscle. And he's looking to get that heavyweight strap. Francis Ngannou.
I like his story, Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, it's a good story, isn't it?
Like, I saw a picture on social media not long ago, and it showed him eating dinner with his mum in a little shack.
In Cameroon.
And I think, I don't know who it was, but someone was, I think someone was trying to disrespect him or something, to say, like, you've got all that money and your mum's still living in that kind of thing.
Oh, what? Someone wrote that in the comments?
Yeah. I know. I don't even think it's someone in comment. I think it was a reporter. I can't remember what I see. Remember what when I saw it. I just remember someone was criticising him for letting his mother live in a shack like that when he can buy a big house. And I liked his answer, man. He goes, "My mum is a very, proud woman."
Yeah,
it's like traditional.
I remember.
You know what I mean?
I can recall him saying
And
something.
my sorry, and my mum can stay here for as long as she, wants to stay here. You know what I mean? If that's what she wants. And when it comes to a time where she wants that big house,
She'll get it.
He'll get it. You know what I mean?
100%.
So,
yeah, he's got a great story, to be honest. If you hear his story, crazy from where he's come from to where he is now, from getting into France, Morocco, Spain illegally just to chase his dreams.
Yeah.
Obviously, he originally wanted to be a boxer, but ended up stumbling across MMA whilst trying to find a boxing gym in France. But he ended up stumbling across MMA. And his journey getting all the way to France is crazy, man. He had to going back and forth between going through like Sahara Desert or something, like going through like between Algeria to trying to get from Algeria to Morocco, obviously Cameroon to Nigeria to Algeria, trying to go into Morocco, trying to go into Spain to France.
It's been a quick rise, do you think?
He's success?
No, I mean he's had a tough ride. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I mean, once he's been in the UFC.
Yeah, once he got he only had a few fights. I think he had like 5 fights before he got into the UFC, because he was just starching guys, man.
This is why I like these discussions, because he's the one with, MMA knowledge.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm more boxing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're football. You understand?
Talking about boxing, he obviously now he's a heavyweight champ.
Yeah.
And obviously now he's obviously got the feet. He's obviously got the world at his feet now. So he even wants to do a boxing match with Tyson Fury somewhere down the line in the future.
No.
Oh, no.
All right, that's where the line is.
But you know what? Me personally, I want to see him fight Jon Jones first before anything else.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
me
of
too,
course.
because
that
would
before
probably
he
be
steps, innit? Yeah.
Tyson Fury's easiest fight he's ever had in his whole life. You know what I mean? He'd be too slow. You know what I mean? Fury would be too quick, just too much boxing ability.
I believe so.
For that to ever happen.
I believe so as well.
You know what I mean? Jon Jones, I like, man. He does a lot of cool stuff, even on his gram. I see him.
Very, very versatile, very dynamic. One of the most, if not the most dynamic.
Who you going for then?
On the planet. Say again?
Who you going for?
Well, if they fight each other,
Yeah.
it's a tough one. Like, obviously on paper, Jon Jones should win because he's the more well-rounded mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
But
If that bomb comes. If those
it's different.
bombs.
Heavyweight's different. Heavyweights are, when it comes to MMA, even boxing, it's a different ball game when you're fighting heavy punches, guys that are as big as you and that can punch, or if not punch harder than you. Do you know what I mean? So
That's why it's an interesting battle.
It's an interesting battle. You know what? I think it's a weird fight, and I feel like Ngannou could starch Jones.
Do you reckon they both want it? Do you reckon they both want it? Do you reckon they both want the fight? Because if that's obviously the fight you want to see, that's probably the fight.
Of course, everyone wants to see it. The whole MMA world wants to see it, but the only problem is Jones is just frustrated with UFC not budging up his pay in order to do that fight. Because if that fight takes place, could potentially be the biggest fight in UFC history.
Is he being stubborn? Do you think he's being stubborn about the money, or do you think he has a right?
No, he has a right. He's paid his dues in the sport, especially in the UFC. He's done what no other fighter's done. He became the youngest world champion in the whole sport in the UFC.
Helps a lot of people outside the sport as well.
That's what I'm saying.
I've seen a lot of cool videos.
That's what I'm saying. And he's obviously paid his dues, and he deserves what he's asking for.
Yeah.
He said he wants more than 8 to 10 mil. I think he deserves that. Do you know what I mean?
Is he the? Would you say those two are like the stars? Who are the main stars right now?
Obviously you got your Conor McGregor's, and obviously now Ngannou's coming up. He's
grabbed everyone's attention big time.
100%.
He seems like he's got that feeling like a Muhammad Ali feeling.
100%. Because the thing is, now there's 3 UFC champions, and I think there's like less than 1% African fighters in the UFC. I think there's less than 20 fighters in the UFC, and UFC's got about like over 500 fighters. So now Ngannou's the champ now, so he has the power to bring the UFC to Africa, because UFC's never been to Africa. So he has the power to bring the UFC to Africa. So kind of like that Rumble in the Jungle effect.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Ali Foreman, innit?
What he done from the press conference in wearing the African.
Yeah,
attire.
man, you know
what I mean?
With his own swag, do you know what I mean? Bringing the culture.
With the hat,
man, of course, man.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
That's why he gives me that Muhammad Ali feeling, you know what I mean? And he's got a good story as well.
100%, great story.
And I reckon Jon Jones will smack him up a little bit. And then, razzle-dazzle him. And then all of a sudden, Ngannou's only option is to bear hug him in the middle of the cage. And squeeze him. Squeeze him to death.
That ain't happening,
you know what I mean?
Man. That ain't happening.
Would you say so in boxing, for me, the heavyweight division is the most exciting division in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn right. Oh.
For me, in my eyes, in the UFC, what would you say
the most exciting division?
Yeah.
Do you know what, to be honest, I can't even say, because it's like the way how compared to like MMA and boxing, obviously the way it's set up, like in terms of rankings and stuff like that, and people fighting opposition that's ranked higher than that's ranked higher. It's more of a high possibility of like let's just say a rank number 6 guy fighting for a world title next. In boxing, you won't get that. You have to go through your mandatories, right? Whereas MMA, it's not like that. So it's like the difference between MMA and boxing in terms of fighters building up. Like boxing, obviously you build gradually. Like you got a top prospect, you build them up.
Yeah.
10, 15, 20 fights. And then after, that's when they start having tougher fights, and then they start fighting their mandatories, and then after they go and fight for a world title. MMA is more like me, for example. I had my first world title fight when I was 3-0.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So you can have 5 fights.
Yeah.
I can have like 4 or 5 fights and get signed to the UFC. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can gain so much so quickly and lose so much so quickly. Do you get what I'm saying? That's where boxing.
It's risky.
That's where boxing and MMA differentiates.
You get looked after a bit in boxing. If you're a prospect, you get, and you're with a big promoter, you are going to get looked after. Yeah, some of them, if they're advanced, they get chucked in earlier with the big boys. Yeah. Like Lawrence Okoli, he hasn't had a lot of fights, and he's a world champ now. So you get the odd one. Joshua as well. He relatively
obviously been built up.
But yeah, you are right. That O. I think the O is important because Floyd Mayweather made it important.
Yeah, because he.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time Mayweather fights, 41-0,
yeah,
42-0, until it got to 50-0. It's all on T-shirts and everything like that.
100%.
So then people coming up, prospects and younger fighters, they're looking at it like, they're obsessed with having an O. But sometimes it's not necessarily the best fighters that will have O's. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, it's not all about having that 0. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes you need that bit of adversity. Like, it's like Mayweather was 50-0, but before he turned pro, he lost his last amateur fight before he turned pro. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of people don't know.
Don't know that.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's all about having adversities in order to try and still have that O. But the thing is, it's like some fighters, they lose their O, and it's a sense of relief. Do you know what I mean? Like, even like when I was undefeated coming up, when I had my first loss, obviously it was sad, but it was a relief. Like, I didn't have to worry about losing that weight. Yeah. I didn't have to worry about losing that O anymore. Do you get what I'm saying? So
I think boxers are a bit more, guided. I mean, I always say this. Even if we're like 3-0, for example. We're 3-0, for example. I wouldn't be worried about fighting another undefeated fighter. So some people be like, oh no, you're chucking him in with an undefeated fighter. But my thing is this: if you got a good team around you, you might look at someone that's 6-0, but that 6-0 ain't at the level of my fighter that's 3-0. And then if you research them,
go and look at the record
and look at who they're faced. You know what I mean? Then you watch a couple of fights and you watching there. Like my fighter's last fight, it took me 30 seconds to say, we're fighting. You know what I mean? It on paper, it looks good. Martin beat someone good, you know. Out of these, I think it was out of these 4 wins, he knocked every single one of them out. You know what I mean? So on paper, it looked nice and tasty.
Of course.
So it looks good for us. But looking at the video, I was like, this is nice, man. We're going to have fun with this one.
It's crazy.
Let's take this fight.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of like MMA. Like, sometimes you get fighters, let me just say, for example, like you get a fighter that's had, like, let's just say 20 fights. And he could have, let's just say, 11 wins out of those 20 fights.
Yeah.
So he could be fighting a prospect. But the thing is, sometimes prospects, they kind of like overlook that record, and they don't know the fights that they had to obviously have those amount of losses. Let's just say, for example, is they haven't seen, they obviously had tough fights. That's hence why they've got those losses. Sometimes it's just obviously taking wrong fights at the wrong time. Do you get what I'm saying? But you get more of that in MMA than in boxing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why I was saying, like, you can lose, gain so much and lose so quick in MMA.
You, Dom, can definitely, well, I've been your boxing coach for a while now. You can definitely transition into boxing later on down the line. You're still very young. You can, because you have the footwork and the hand speed and the punch variation to do it. Obviously, I made you motherfucking better as well.
100%. 100%, no doubt about that. Yeah.
You definitely can bloody steal the show if you turned pro in boxing as well. And that's why boxing and MMA is I think they have a lot of battles between each other, as in, you know, MMA fight fan base sometimes, you know, take the piss out of boxing, boxing vice versa. But I think what they're doing these days is actually pretty good for the fans. It's bringing a lot more attention, a lot more money to the scene. And then next week, we've got Jake Paul versus Ben Askren.
Ben Askren.
You know what I mean? So you see Jake Paul, you know, YouTuber, you know, he's calling out boxers. And, you know, it's a weird one, you know, boxing and MMA, like I said about the stamina. Like in the Floyd Mayweather-McGregor fight, you could see the difference in that fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Mayweather took him to school.
100%.
Jake Paul ain't a boxer in my eyes, but he's got a lot of better boxing brain and ability. So I think he'd beat Ben Askren. But I like Ben Askren, man.
I don't know about that, you know. I think, listen, my whole perception of people coming from YouTube, thinking they can just call out all these big names and stuff, I think it's a disrespect to the sport. Ooh. No, I do. Boxing's,
you know, my brother's a YouTuber, yeah?
No, I know that. But listen, for me, you have to train. For me, train for years. Do you know what I mean? You can't just turn up and be like, yeah, I want to be...
I'm going to have my views, yeah.
Yeah? I don't think you could just turn up and be like, yeah, I'm going to go and get in a step in a ring, just because everyone else is doing it. That's what it feels like now. That's what it feels like since the whole Logan Paul thing and KSI. All the YouTubers are coming out now saying, yeah, let's call each other out, let's fight. And, do you know what I mean?
I mean, though, let's put it this way. Put yourself in their shoes, yeah? If you've got another avenue to make millions, anyone's going to do it. 100%. So that's the one side where I, kind of, okay, I accept them coming into the boxing world kind of thing, because if I was in their shoes and YouTuber and I had a chance to make 5 mil, 1 mil, 2 mil, you know what I mean, to add into my bank, it's going to be very tempting to go in there, you know what I mean, and cross over and try
I get
it
that,
out.
yeah.
But I will say this, bruv. I said my brother's a YouTuber. I hope we could get him on this show, King Kenny.
We'll get him.
Yeah, we'll get him. He said he's going to come on. But yeah, he's a really big YouTuber. And not long ago, he asked me to train him for a fight, a YouTube fight, against one of Jake Paul's opponents, actually. So it's going to be on a big bill. But I told him, I'm only doing it if you fight him like next year or to the end of the year, because I don't want to embarrass myself and I don't want you to embarrass yourself. So that's where I think I don't have any problem with YouTubers being boxers. You know what I mean? Make that money. But don't come in and disrespect it by not taking the training serious and learning the technique and the fundamentals probably. So that's what I told my brother. You're going to fucking learn the fundamentals, the small things, the small details, over and over and over. It might be months before I even say, right, now you're ready for some sparring. Let's put that into action. And then once we spar, it could take another 3-4 months before I'm happy to go, right, all right, you're ready to step in the ring, because you're not making a mug of yourself, you're not making a mug of me. So I think I ain't got no problem with it, man. Make your fucking money, you know what I mean?
Most definitely, but you can't play the game. So like even like Jake Paul, I don't think he's playing about. He's putting in the work. He's putting in the work for this fight with Ben Askren. Yeah. And I feel like he will beat Askren, Ben Askren. Yeah, because it's like in the MMA world, Ben Askren is a high level wrestler. He's an Olympian wrestler. Do you know what I mean? So that's his forte. Yeah. So that's his bread and butter, wrestling. And even in MMA, he didn't really strike too much. He would only strike to set up his takedowns so he can dominate guys on the floor. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's where he's dominant. So whereas obviously now he's forced to have, how many rounds is it?
I don't fucking know, man.
3 to 5 rounds or something like that. 6 rounds or something like that. 3 rounds, 5 rounds. So now he's forced to stand up. Yeah. With another trained athlete, let's say, Jake Paul.
I watched him on the pads. It's not good, is it?
Who?
Askren.
But he's not a striker though. Even in MMA, he's not known to be a striker. He's a pure wrestler. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? So you watch his fights, you'd only see like 2% of his hands. Yeah. Hands, kicks, elbows, knees, whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? Compared to the 98%, which is wrestling.
Jake Paul probably knock him out, I reckon. But I do like Ben Askren. Ben Askren is, I started following him just because I stumbled across this podcast and I thought, let me watch it, get some more info on the Jake Paul Askren fight. And it was Askren on Logan Paul's podcast. You know what I mean? So that's when I started to like him, man. I was like, he's pretty cool, down to earth dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a bit of a funny character. Bootcut jeans and freaking Jesus flip flops.
Exactly, and Jake Paul's all in his face, but it's not phasing him. He's like keeping it calm. You know what I mean? Yeah. That might be getting to Jake Paul more because of how calm he is. Yeah.
True,
you know what I mean? And he's not biting.
That.
You know what I mean?
True that.
But I still think he's gonna get knocked out. Jake
Paul
hits hard.
Do you know what? I think Jake's gonna be surprised by Ben Askren's toughness. I think Jake Paul wins, but I don't think he finishes him as quickly as he may expect. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is he got infamous video?
Who's that?
Askren. Is he got the quickest? Did he get knocked out the quickest or something?
Is it
a record?
It's up there.
Is it up there?
Top 5, it's up there.
I need to see that, man.
He's in like UFC history fastest knockout. So obviously he was on the back end of being knocked out.
Yeah. Was it Masvidal?
Yeah, against Jorge Masvidal. Yeah.
How quick did he knock him?
It was literally like 5 seconds, but obviously, as soon as the knee landed, Askren was out cold. So that was like 3 seconds. But obviously, as soon as the ref stepped in and stopped it, that was about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But if you don't count the ref jumping in and just him being out, it was probably like 3 seconds.
That's another thing about MMA and boxing. You know, when someone gets knocked out, it seems like in MMA, when you knock someone down, boom. When you walk over, you know, the knockout becomes quick. You know what I mean? The referee steps in quick. Whereas in boxing, that's why boxing is very dangerous because someone could be basically unconscious on their feet. And you step in and finish them off with loads of punches.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And the referee's still like this.
They can still fight. In boxing, they can still fight on being concussed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Fair play to Ben Askren, though, because he said about that knockout, you know, sometimes life just knocks you down, man. You got to get up.
Yeah,
there's worse things in life going on, man. You just got to carry on. So big respect to him. And I think we have going to end it now. Thank you for another episode on The Violent Mic. I've been Daley Perales. This is Joe the Baller and Dominic the Black Panther Wooden. We are out.